Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's video. I am pretty excited about today's video because I am doing my very first 24-hour reading challenge. I love watching these. I love watching to see how many books people can get through in a 24-hour period. Now, there's different ways you can do it. There's some people who do a video where they're reading 24 consecutive hours and they just stay up all night. And then there's some people who do 12 hours, they sleep, and then the next day they do another 12-hour reading block. And then some people just keep track of how long they're reading through the week, and once that 24 hours is over, then they're done. And I think for me, first of all, if you don't know, I am going to be 45 next month, so I am middle-aged. And I don't know that I'll be able to stay up all night to read, just because I am older, I need my sleep, I have children that I need to get up and get off to school. And I think if I were to try to stay up for 24 hours straight, I would be right. I don't think that would be the safest thing for my kids. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read for as long as I can, for as late as I can, hopefully get to at least 12 hours, and then pick back up tomorrow after I get some rest to finish it off. Now, today is April 23rd. It is a Tuesday, and my husband is out of town for work this week. And I picked this week to do this video just because I knew he was going to be out of town this week, and I figured it would be the best time to do this. As I mentioned, I have two kids. I have a 6th grader and a 4th grader, and I just sent them off to school, so I should have quite a bit of uninterrupted time to read. I also got a lot of work done last night, so for today I only have just a little bit of work to do later today. So let's talk about the books that I do want to read or are on my TBR to read for this video. And I'm super excited because there's one book that I got about 2.5 weeks ago that I have been itching to read, but I've been saving it for this video, and today's the day. I can't wait. Now, I did want to read some new releases for this video, and I figured let's read my book of the month picks for April. And the first one is Abby Jimenez's Just for the Summer, and I've been seeing a lot of people read this book and love it. It's gotten a lot of 5 stars, so I've been itching to read this. I'm so excited that I finally get to open this and read this. From what I gather, it is about these two people, this guy and this girl, who talk through on Reddit because the guy has made a post about how every girl that he's dated, after they break up, she ends up finding her soulmate. And then the girl in this book, similar situation, so they end up talking and they agree to kind of date each other for, I don't know, for a certain period of time, and then break up so that they can meet their soulmate. And it sounds really cute. Like I said, a lot of people love this book, and this is going to be the very first book I crack open. The other book I got from Book of the Month is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. This is a magical realism book. I think it's just a women's fiction chick lit, but I think it's about this woman who goes home one day and there's a man in her house who says he's her husband, but she's never been married. She has no knowledge of marrying anyone, but on her phone there's pictures of them. Her friends say, yeah, you've married this guy. But I think she sends them to the attic to change a light bulb, and when he comes down, it's a different husband. It's weird. I know it's a little convoluted, but it sounds interesting. I love magical realism books. I love time warp books, so this sounded like it was right up my alley, and I haven't heard anyone really talk about this. And then I have Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, another book I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. I believe this is a mystery thriller, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I believe some girls were in a foster home, and they've gotten older, and then the woman who was their foster mom died, or I don't know the whole story. I'm going into this a little bit blind, which is okay. I think sometimes it's good to go into thrillers not knowing what's going on, but hopefully I'll get to this one as well. So those 3 books are the ones I definitely want to read, and if I still have time, I have these other 3 options. I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. A lot of people have read this and said it's great, and the cover just screams spring and summer. But this is about a woman who finds out she's pregnant, and I don't think the guy really has a lot to do with her. I think it was a one-night stand. I'm not sure, but the guy's not in the picture too much. And the brother of her brother's friend, or one of her friends' brother, he kind of comes to her rescue and kind of helps her. I wouldn't say comes to her rescue. He just kind of helps her out during this pregnancy. And then things go from there. The other book I got is You Look Better as a Ghost by Joanna Wallace. This one was Barnes & Noble's April book club pick, and they're usually pretty good. This is actually a pretty short book, but I believe this is about a woman who can see ghosts, and she's also a part-time serial killer, and she meets this guy at a bar, and I don't know if she's gonna, I don't know. It's supposed to be a dark comedy, a little bit of a thriller. I've heard it's actually really good. I was with a friend at a bookstore and I was telling her about this, that I got it, and the person who worked there overheard me and told me it's really, really good. He read it like in a day. And then lastly, I'm hopping on the Chestnut Springs bandwagon, and I got Flawless by L.C. Silver. This is a, if you don't know, this is a Western romance, and I've heard it's really good. So this is also going to be an option if I finish those other 3 Book of the Month picks. So what time is it? It's 8:45 in the morning. And I think I'm gonna wait until 9 a.m. to get started. That way it's a nice even even number. So I am excited. But let's go ahead and crack open this first book. But I am about an hour, a little over an hour into this little reading challenge, and I'm on chapter 8, page 79, and this book is so cute so far. I really love Justin. He is the cutest thing ever. But what I didn't know is so I read Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World series. I read Part of Your World and Yours Truly last month and really loved those books. And there is a guest appearance in this book from a character in the Yours Truly book. So that was a nice little surprise, but I am loving this so far. Right now it's a 4 out of 5 star read for me, and I'm just giddy. This is so cute. How many pages is this? It's about over 400 pages. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. This is so cute. Oh my god, I can't even. Hi. I love this book so much. Oh. This book is a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. There's some pretty deep issues that they're both dealing with, and I love that about this book. Like I said, I've read 2 Abby Jimenez books before, and both of them dealt with real world issues, not these little fake problems that make no sense. The problems that I've noticed in her books that the characters are dealing with are real, and there's definitely some real issues with these characters, and I love that. So you're dealing with the deep stuff, but it's also still just a sweet romance. And I love that I'm almost halfway through and they haven't even kissed yet. I can't stand when it's hot and heavy early in the book, and that's all it is. I like it when a relationship is developed, you know, and they put a lot of emotion into that relationship before it gets physical. So I'm loving this, it's so cute. It's 11:30, how much time? I have 21 hours and 27 minutes left on my timer. So what is that, 2.5 hours I've read? And I'm on chapter 17. So I'm gonna read a little bit more, probably about 20 more minutes, and then I need to change clothes, put some pants on, and go and go run my errands. It's a little after 3 and it's carpool time, and I am almost done with this. I have maybe 70 pages left. I finished Just for the Summer, and this was such a good book. 6 stars, hands down. Probably the best book I read this month so far, and I've read a lot of books this month. This was so good. Abby Jimenez has a way with words. You can tell she's a mother. You can tell that she has some experience with some things. She just, the way she describes, I can't even put into words how I feel. But this was an excellent book. If you haven't read this, please pick this up. It was so amazing. Just perfection. A great book. So when I got home from picking up my daughter from school, I had this package waiting for me, and it is a book that I pre-ordered, and it's the new Emily Henry book, Funny Story. Now, I've read one of her books before. I read Beach Read back in March, and wait, that was last month. Oh my gosh, it feels like March was forever ago. Yeah, last month I read Beach Read by her, and I gave it 2 stars. It was not my favorite, but the synopsis of this, the plot of this book sounds really interesting. And so I think, how many pages is this? 384 pages. But I think I'm gonna read this next. I did have to pause my timer because I had to get snacks together for my daughter, and I'm gonna have to pause it again so that I can make dinner. But I think I'm just gonna wait just a little bit before I start this, because my oldest daughter is about to come home and I need to do mom stuff and make dinner and spend time with them. So I'm gonna put this on pause, and when I pick back up with the timer, this is gonna be my next book. Okay, so with the books I finished, I'm just going to start a little pile right here. And again, these are the books that I went over this morning. These are the books I have to choose from. Again, I did pause the timer so I can do mom stuff, but it's currently 4:40 and I have 17 hours and 27 minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. My daughters are doing their homework and I don't think they need me at the moment. I have dinner going in the oven, so I can do some reading while I wait for all that to get taken care of. I don't think I'll need to pause it anymore, so I'm gonna try to keep going until I can't anymore. just wanted to give you guys a quick recap. It is 9 o'clock and I have 14 hours and 15 minutes left. I did have to stop the timer again, so I've had to do that a few times just so I can do mom stuff and help the kids with homework, and we did dinner and just did some mommy-daughter bonding time together this evening. But I'm back to reading Funny Story, and first, look how pretty. This is pink and it has the white binding, and then it has the foil blue lettering over here, but it's a really pretty book on the outside. I am on page 190. What chapter is this? I don't know what chapter it is. Chapter 16. So I'm a little, actually I'm about halfway through the book, and it's pretty cute so far. I would say at this point it's 3 out of 5. So far I am enjoying this a lot more than Beach Read. I'm actually loving it a lot. I'm enjoying the chemistry between the two main characters. They're cute together, and I'm anxious to see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'm going to take a shower, wash makeup off my face, and usually I'm actually really tired. I'm very tired actually, and usually when I take showers or baths, it wakes me up a little bit and energizes me some. So hopefully when I take a bath, I'll hit that, I'll get my second wind. I also have some energy drinks to keep me going. I'm trying to make it to midnight at least, so let's see what happens. An update. I just finished Funny Story by Emily Henry. I can't remember if I told you earlier when I got this book that this was released today. So on the day I'm filming this, April 23rd, is when this book finally came out. It is 11:34, and pause the time so I can show you it. 12 hours and 4 minutes left on this reading challenge. But like I said, I just finished this and I am really tired already. I've been up since about 5 a.m. But I did love this more than I enjoyed. What was the book I read? Beach Read. Beach Read I did not love. This one was so much better. I am leaning, it's not quite a 4-star read for me, but it's not a 3. It's somewhere in the middle. I don't like doing halvesies just because, just pick one. But I think in this case it is somewhere in the middle between 3 and 4 stars. So this is about a girl named Daphne who moves with her fiance to this town in Michigan, and shortly after they arrive, he ends their engagement because he decides he has feelings for his childhood friend. Now his childhood friend, I can't remember her name, Petra. Her name's Petra. Petra was living with this guy named Miles at the time. So when Petra and Peter get together, Petra is going to move in with Peter. So now Daphne doesn't have a place to stay, and Miles has this room available, so she moves in with him, and they have this Lonely Hearts Club. Well, they end up falling for each other. And the thing with this is both Miles and Daphne both come from dysfunctional families. They also have dysfunctional relationships. And so they are having a lot to deal with. They have a lot of baggage that they have to deal with in order to be together. And this was a good read. It was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. It definitely wasn't a 5-star read for me, but it wasn't quite a 4-star read either. But I enjoyed it. This was a long book. Just for the Summer was over, how many pages was this? This was over 400 pages, yeah. And this was close to 400 pages. So both of these were longer books. So I figured by now I'd be through 3 books, but because these were so long, it's probably why I only got through 2. But I'm proud of myself. I read 2 new releases, 2 books that I definitely wanted to read. So I am happy, but I am tired, and I need to be not a zombie when I take my kids to school tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna keep pausing this timer, and then tomorrow morning I'll pick back up and finish up the last 12 hours of this reading challenge. But I'm gonna say goodnight right now and go to bed, and yeah, so good night. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day. It's Wednesday, April 24th, and today I'm going to finish the 24-hour reading challenge. As you know, yesterday I did 12 hours. I did the first half, and today I'm going to do the last 12. But yesterday I did get through 2 books. I did Funny Story and Abby Jimenez. Both of them were good reads. And today I hope to get through at least a couple of more. I think yesterday both of those books were a minimum of 400 pages, or I think Funny Story was almost right at 400. Might have been like 390 something, I don't remember. But Abby Jimenez was over 400, so those did take me a little bit longer to read. They both dealt with some pretty traumatic issues, and usually books that are a little bit deeper, they do take me a little bit longer to read, just because I am reading every single word to make sure I'm fully understanding what's happening. But today, because I dealt with 2 books that had family drama and family trauma, I want books that are going to be just light and easy for me to read. I don't want a whole lot of just anguish and just family drama. You know, I want something light and easy. All right, let's pick out my next book from my little TBR stack for this reading journey. The first one I had is Darling Girls, but I don't think I'm going to read that for this challenge anymore, just because it's dealing with these adults who were in the foster care system, and I'm pretty sure they were abused in some way, and I don't think I can emotionally handle that right now. The next book is The Husbands, Ready or Not, Flawless, and You Look Better as a Ghost. Ready or Not is dealing with a unplanned pregnancy and a single mom, and I think there's going to be a little more depth. It's not going to be like a light romance, I don't think. So I might wait to read that one. I'm not ready to read Flawless yet. So I'm leaning towards The Husbands or You Look Better as a Ghost, which is, I think, a dark comedy. You know what, let's do The Husbands, just because I do want to get one more book of the month book read for this reading challenge before the month is over. So let's read this one. Since lunch yesterday, so I made some steel cut oats and I have some leftover watermelon, and I'm gonna eat this while I begin this book. But first, let's do an update. I am 2 hours into this next 12-hour block, and I'm on page 209 of The Husbands, and sad to say I'm not loving this. I usually like a good magical realism book, and the idea of this book sounded amazing. It sounded right up my alley. This woman comes home after a bachelorette party and finds that there is a man in her home who says he's her husband, and all of her friends say, yes, he's your husband. Pictures on her phone show pictures of their wedding. And he goes to the attic, and when he comes down, it's a different man who's claiming to be her husband. Every time she sends someone up to the attic, a new husband comes down. And the reason why I'm not liking it is there's one husband right after another. She falls in love after one night with this one guy. I don't know. This one's really hard to get through. I'm not enjoying anything about this book. So I really want to DNF it, but I'm curious I want to see how this ends, because I'm curious as to why her attic out of the blue is magical. There was no prologue to explain what's going on. Usually with the magical realism books I've read, there's, you know, something that's causing it that you know about in the beginning. In this case, you don't know what's happening. So I'm curious as to how this ends. Right now, it's somewhere between a 1 and a 2-star read for me. But sadly, I'm just not loving this. So I have about 130 pages left, which means I'll probably finish in the next hour and a half-ish, and I can move on to my next book. But right now, I'm not loving this, but we'll do an update when I finish the book. I just finished The Husbands, and I have about 9 hours left on my 24-hour challenge. And again, a recap on this, it didn't get better. Actually, it got worse. I did not love this at all. This is going to be probably a 1-star. This is a book I probably should have DNF'd. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't love it. I thought it would get better, and it never did. And it never really explained what was going on with the attic. Why was it sending her new husbands? So, I don't know. This is a debut author. I might read something else by her down the road, but for me, this just didn't do anything for me. And I don't want to talk anymore about books I don't enjoy reading. I don't like dwelling on those. But I think I want to read the You'd Look Better as a Ghost book. I think I'm in the mood for that one next. So we are going to go get that book. We're going to put this book away. We're going to go get that book. And I'm still in my lounging clothes from last night, so I need to change and put some real clothes on. I do have to pick up my daughter in about a little less than 3 hours. So tonight I am gonna have to pause the timer again a couple of times. I need to pick up my daughter at 3. My oldest daughter gets home at around 4-ish, so we have to do dinner, homework. My oldest also has volleyball practice this evening at around 8. So it's gonna be kind of a weird evening tonight because I'm gonna have to start and stop the timer. So I'm probably gonna be up pretty late tonight trying to finish this video, but that's okay. Anyway, let me go change and get myself together, and then we'll start reading the next book. So this book is written by Joanna Wallace, and this is, I believe, a debut novel for her. This is her first book. And the back just says, I have a gift. I see people as ghosts before they die. Of course it helps that I'm the one killing them. Sounds very interesting. The night after her father's funeral, Claire meets Lucas in a bar. Lucas doesn't know it, but it's not a chance meeting. One thoughtless, mistyped email has put him in the crosshairs of an extremely annoyed serial killer. But even before Clay takes him home and carves him up into little pieces, something about that night is very wrong, because someone is watching Claire, someone who is about to discover her murderous little hobby. The thing is, it's not sensible to tangle with a part-time serial killer, even one who is distracted by attending a weekly bereavement support group and trying to get her art career off the ground. Will Claire finish off her blackmailer before her pursuer reveals all? Let the games begin. So, this is what we're reading next. It sounds great. Let's get started. About 7.5 hours left of this reading challenge, and I just put it on pause because I wanted to give you a quick update on this book. I am on page 102, chapter 10. I'm a little less than halfway. I read about this much. I'm a little less than halfway through. I'm not sure what I think about this book. So in this book, you're following Claire, who is a part-time serial killer. However, she doesn't see ghosts, or if she does, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I think that's probably a metaphor for something, and I'm too brain dead to figure that out. I don't know what I think about this. It's okay, but Claire's dad died in the beginning of the book, and I think he had Alzheimer's, and she's trying to come to terms with that, and she's having to deal with her little side career of being a serial killer. This is just a little odd. Right now I'm giving it 3, and I'm hoping some of these, it's early, I know, but I'm hoping it gets a little bit better. But if it doesn't, it may end up as a 2-star read for me. But right now it's okay. I'm not getting it just yet. But one thing I do want to say is this is a Penguin book, and I don't know, let me focus in on it. You see the little penguin here at the bottom? There is blood on the little logo. So she has a knife with blood dripping from it, and then the penguin logo has blood dripping from that. So I thought that was interesting and kind of cool. I don't know. It was pointed out to me at the bookstore. Oh, and then on the E of the author's name, it has dripping blood. I thought it was interesting. So my plan for right now is I have some work I need to do. I was going to listen to an audiobook, but my brain needs a break and my eyes need a break. So I don't think I can read anything else right now. I just need a couple hours just to regroup and get some work done. And I'm gonna go pick up my daughter and then come back, and before my other daughter gets home, I'll probably read a little bit more, maybe another hour. And then I'll take another break to cook dinner, go to volleyball practice, and then pick this back up tonight and hopefully finish it, which means it's gonna be a late night. But I'm gonna try and soldier through it. Okay, see you in a little bit. It is 6:15 in the evening, and I have about 5 hours and 17 minutes left of this challenge, and I just finished book number 4, You Look Better as a Ghost, and I'm here to tell you that there are no ghosts in this book. When it says that she sees ghosts before they die, that is metaphorically. She does not really see the dead. So for this book, I really wanted to love it, but I didn't. This one I'm gonna give 2.5 stars just because I did. Okay, so this covers child abuse, this covers elderly abuse, so this is a very dark, deep book. This is not light and funny It also covers dementia and Alzheimer's disease, which I did like how they represented that in here, because this author, I believe, has experience with having a loved one who had Alzheimer's, and so she knew firsthand how to depict that in here, and she did a very good job of that. But I think that was the only thing I liked about it, was how well she covered dementia. But the rest of it I did not love, unfortunately. So that means my last two books have been books I haven't loved, and I really just want something light and fun. My brain is tired, my eyes are tired. I really don't want to read anymore, but I want to finish this. I want to finish this challenge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the Chestnut Springs series by reading Flawless next. So hopefully I'll love that one. Hopefully it's fun, hopefully it's an easy read, and hopefully I will fly through it because it's a little bit of a thicker book. So we're gonna try Flawless from the Chestnut Springs next. I look rough. I am so tired and worn out. It's 9:23 and I have 3 hours and 13 minutes left on my challenge clock, and we just got back from my daughter's volleyball practice. So the kids are in bed and I'm going to try and finish out this video. As you know, I started Flawless by Elsie Silver. I also have it on my Kindle, and I was reading some of it while I was at her practice today. What chapter am I on? I'm 32% of the way through. Chapter 12, page 133. So far I like it. It's right now probably around a 3-star-ish range. But one thing I don't like about this book so far is the language. I know that Rhett, which is the guy in this book, I know he's a bull rider. He's supposed to be this macho guy. But I have a problem when there's a lot of bad language, a lot of cussing and just crude talk in books. I don't like it. It makes me cringe, and it comes across as lazy writing. I feel like you can get that message across without being that way. I don't mind cussing. I cuss sometimes myself. Trust me, I get it. But I feel like if it's just everywhere, like I think the 5th word in the very first page, 1, 2, 3, yeah, the 5th word was a bad word. Anyway, but it's still fine. It's good. That's what I don't like about this book so far, and what I don't like about some contemporary romances that are out there. It's just really bad language. So anyway, I'm going to brush my teeth, climb into bed, and hopefully finish this book in the next 3-ish hours. And I'll check in a little bit. today is the next day. It's Thursday, and guess what? I finished it. I finished my first challenge. It took me a little bit longer to get to, like more days. I was hoping just to get done over Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 days, but it ended up taking me 3 days because last night when I was trying to get through that last hour, I kept nodding off. So I ended up pausing the book and finishing up this morning. I had about an hour left this morning that I needed to get through, and I finished Flawless with 10 minutes to spare. So that's great. That means I read 5 books over a 24-hour period, which is amazing. I was only hoping to get through 3, maybe 4. But I want to take this time and give you my final thoughts on these 5 books. But first, some of you may be wondering if I had fun doing this, and I would say yes and no. I love that I was able to read some good books and get through some books that I've been wanting to read. But it was exhausting. My eyes, everything right now when I look around, everything is blurry just because my eyes are strained from reading for so long. And also too, I hate to say this, but I feel like I need a little break from reading. I think tonight I'm gonna go to bed early and probably just watch some Netflix and not read like I usually do. But anyway, I'm in my husband's man cave because someone bought the house next door and they're doing some landscaping work, and they're very, very loud. Let's go through these books one last time and I can give you my final thoughts. And I know I haven't spoken to you too much about this, and I do have thoughts and feelings about this that I want to talk about. Let's start with the first book I read, which is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I've never wanted to hug a book as much as I want to hug this book. It was so good. I love this so much. There is something about Abby Jimenez and the fact that she can just write the perfect boyfriend, and she just knows how to write these really special magical moments between the 2 main characters that is just perfection. It's flawless, lovely. I loved it. As you know, for those of you who have read this author before, you know she likes to weave in real world problems that characters have to overcome, and she does this in a very respectful and emotional way that I can appreciate. This one is dealing with mental illness, and I love this so much. This is probably my favorite Abby Jimenez book. So this book is part of a series. There's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and then this one, and they are interconnected a little bit. You will see characters pop up in each book, and I feel like even more so with this one, and I loved that. And there were some really surprising and shocking things that happened in this one. But I really, really love this. I highly recommend it. I do have 3 books that she's written that I have not read yet. I believe it's the Friend Zone series. It was, the first one's a Friend Zone, and then there's something about a playlist, and I think there's another one after that. I haven't read those yet, but I am anxious to get to those because I do love this author so much. So this was and is still a 5-star read for me. Okay, then I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. As I mentioned before, I read Beach Read, which is a lot of people's favorite Emily Henry book, and I did not like it. That was a 2 out of 5-star read for me. This one, I can't remember if I said it was a 3-star read, but if I did, I'm actually gonna bump it up to 4 stars. Now that I've kind of thought about this book and contemplated and reflected on it, I realized that no, this is actually more of a 4-star book for me. What I loved is the fact that in this book you are not dealing with a hero who is some tech genius or a rich billionaire or a hockey player. This is just a real guy who has a real job. He is a bartender at a winery. He smokes pot sometimes, and that's a real person. There are people out there who that is them. And also too, this story really spoke to me, and I didn't mention this when I was reading this because this read a little bit like my own love story with my husband. These are 2 characters who are getting over having their heart just shattered into a million pieces. And along this journey that you're reading in the story, not only are they finding themselves, but they find each other, and they have that deep emotional connection with each other. And that's mine and my husband's story, pretty much. I do have 2 other books on my TBR for Emily Henry. One is Happy Place, which is another book everyone loves. And then the other one is something about a vacation. I don't know. It has an orange cover, that I do know. But I'm glad that I found an Emily Henry book that I do love, so that makes me feel a little bit more better about picking up those books to read. Next, I read my other book of the month pick for the month of April, and that's The Husbands, and it's by Holly Gramazio. I just did not like this book. I think I gave it 2 stars, but really, now that I think about it, I'm gonna bump it down to 1 because this is a book I would have DNF'd if I wasn't doing this video. There wasn't anything that I liked about this book. When I read this on the Book of the Month website, it spoke my language. It was magical realism. It was, okay, there's this magic attic and a new husband comes down anytime he goes into the attic. Perfect. I love that idea. It didn't deliver for me. I don't want to dwell too much on how much I didn't like it, just because I don't like to do that. Just know that I did not love this at all. It didn't do anything for me. So this, I'm sad to say, is a 1-star read. So the next book that I read, and one that I was really looking forward to reading, that's You'd Look Better as a Ghost by Joanna Wallace. And I can't remember if I gave this 2 or 3 stars yesterday, but just in case, I'm gonna go with 3 stars for this. It does, as I mentioned, cover child abuse, elderly abuse, and there is a heavy storyline involving dementia. And I loved the representation of dementia. This book really touches on how much and how cruel of a disease that is, and how much it affects not only the person who has it, but the loved ones around them. It's a disease that affects everyone. And I don't know anyone who has dementia. Knock on wood, no one in my family has gotten it. But I can't imagine having that or having to watch a parent I can't imagine. So I did like that aspect of this. The main character, Claire, she's very sarcastic and snarky. I love a good sarcastic main character. I did laugh out loud in parts. Overall, what I didn't like about it, I didn't care for the plot, and I thought it was kind of odd and weird. And also too, there were no ghosts. Don't tell me there's gonna be ghosts if there's no ghosts. Obviously it was a metaphorical mention, but when you say, I have a gift, I see people as ghosts before they die, that doesn't come across as metaphorically to me. That's a literal, I see dead people. And if you say that, you've already hooked me and I'm gonna read this book. So just know there's no actual ghosts in here. But it was still a good read, it was okay. And then the last book is Flawless by Elsie Silver, and everyone in the book universe loves this chestnut series. I hear a lot of talk about this and I was curious about it, so I went ahead and picked it up because I do love a good cowboy romance. I cut my teeth on Diana Palmer books back in the day, so if you know, you know. And okay, so let's talk about this book. I loved the bull riding aspect of this book and the behind the scenes, just because it's interesting. I'm from Houston, and obviously we have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and my favorite part of going to the rodeo is seeing the bull riding. So that was very interesting to me, and I did love their love story. I really did not like the bedroom scenes and the dirty talk. It was very cringy, and I ended up skimming through a lot of it. I don't mind having spicy scenes, but when it gets to be too much, where in my opinion borders on porn, I get uncomfortable with that. So maybe that's just me. I did not enjoy that in this book. I thought it was a bit much. And also too, I did not like the array of cussing that is done in this book. I know Abby Jimenez uses cuss words in her books, but it's not as prevalent. She can beautifully write a story with having words here and there because it's more impactful that way. And I'm the same way. I cuss too sometimes. Trust me, when I get with my girlfriends and we have our girls' weekend, when I come home, I cuss like a sailor, and I hate that. I have to deprogram myself from doing that, especially because I have kids. But so I know that sometimes a story is better said dropping an F-bomb. It's more impactful. I get it, trust me. But there was so much cussing in this, it was distracting and it took away from the story. Those are the two things I didn't like about this book. Outside of that, I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed meeting this family, and yes, I'm gonna read the series. I'm curious about Cade's story, and I can't wait to read Beau's story. Those are two characters that I fell in love with this book. There is some grumpy sunshine in here. There's forced proximity in here, and I ate that up. I do love those tropes. And overall, it was just a 3-star read for me. It probably would be higher if the cussing was toned down a lot. I don't need to read a clean romance or a closed door romance, but I feel like too, if the bedroom scenes were a little less spicy, I would have enjoyed it more too. But it was fine, it was good. I can see the appeal of this book. I can see how others really love the series. And I do want to continue reading this series, and I'm looking forward to that. But that's all I read. I'm so proud of myself. I'm glad I got through this. My husband is going out of town again next month for a week for work, and I thought about doing another one of those next month, and right now I don't know if I will, just because of how exhausted I am from just doing this one video, but we'll see. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video and if you want to see me do another 24-hour challenge, drop me a comment and let me know. And also too, if you've read any of these books, let me know which one is your favorite. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy reading. Bye.